Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the first page that I made with my March for the Love of Homemade kits. And as you can see, I'm using that beautiful striped paper and my black and white paper that I used. And I kind of wish now that I had some black that maybe went behind that black and white paper to have that stand out a little bit. And I did my typical, run my big brush pen along the edge to try to make that edge stand out a little bit more. But, well, it is what it is. I'm just going to leave it alone. All right, so most of these elements, are actually all of the embellishments, came from the Family Fun from Ellie's Studio. And that tag had a big old hole in the heart, and I wanted to add some color there. And of course, green's my favorite color, so that's what I went with. And I showed at the beginning the photo because my daughter sent this to me. And I'm really somewhat embarrassed to say this, but when I first saw the photo, I thought she was being mean to me because I love eating pancakes with peanut butter and maple syrup, but I can't have peanut butter anymore. And I thought that she was sending that like, haha, look what I'm having for breakfast and you're not. And that wasn't it at all. She was sending me a picture of her little dog Bailey peeking over the corner of the table like, can I have some please? So when she brought it to my attention, like, oh yeah, I felt really bad that I was being very selfish and thinking of my own stomach and the things that I can't have anymore. So anyway, so you saw how I used the big brush along the long edges of those papers and then the little half circle. And I felt that the heart here needed a little bit of jazzing up. So I also did the, some outline of the heart. And I don't see anything on the, what are they, the puffy stickers. So I go on to those acrylic pieces, which are still super thick, but I decided to use some of them. I think I end up using 3 of them. So I thought I really like the color of the light green and the navy. And so I went with that on, both of those, I guess, embellishment areas. And then underneath that green heart that's on the left-hand side, it says Gather Together. And now I'm looking through the alpha, and even though there are so many letters, I still had to do some surgery on those to make them, to make all the letters that I needed. So it's going to say, Pretty Please, and a question mark. And I was deciding whether to color them with watercolor or, distressed inks. And I just decided to keep them white. So as you can see in the word pretty, there is a P and then another P and then an F and TTY. Well, as you know, one of those P's is going to turn into an R. So just take an X and I just make it fit. It's not perfect, but at least you recognize it as an R. And then as for the F, I do make it into an E. Once again, it's not perfect, but it's okay for all practical purposes. You do recognize it as, the full word being pretty, of course. And I promise I don't make you watch me glue all those down. But I definitely have to use my tweezers. There is just no way that my fat fingers can get around those letters correctly. So as I'm looking at this, I know it needs a little bit more embellishments, and I don't really have a lot out, and I really didn't want to get any more out. I wanted to see what I could do, and this is the very first layout. I've got to be able to figure this out. So I chose to use one of the stamps, and I use the itty bitty dots, and that is oh goodness, it's a dewdrop. I think it's called like summer days, something like that. And I do a little bit of stamping off onto the paper and then second generation ink onto my page. I do first generation too. So, and you can barely see even the first generation, at least on this video. In real life, you can see it a little bit better, but not by much. So I do it on two sides of the tags, and I need it to go underneath some of these letters because I wanted to have this continuity of it. And then I also put some over there by the question mark. Now, as I try to put everything back, I kind of forgot where those hearts go, the acrylic heart and that little navy heart. And at this point, I lose the little navy heart that's going to go on the tag. I have no idea where it is. In fact, I had to stop the video and watch it to find out where it went. I've never had to do that before, but because I have so few things to play with, I needed to use every single piece that I could. So I'm cleaning up thinking, oh, it'll just show up. It'll just show up. And it just never did. So I believe I just start gluing some things down thinking that it will still show up. And I found it underneath that half circle is where I ended up finding it. It was kind of sticking out. And I'm so glad that I did. See, I'm looking for it, can't find it. Where is it? Yep. So then I thought I would just go ahead and start sticking down some of the letters. And then I end up stopping the video and gluing these down, but also worried about where that little heart is. It's so funny how that can be. We kind of fret about some of the little things in life. May not really be a little thing in life when you really need it. All right, so now I have stopped the video, found the blue heart, all is saved, ready to move on and ready to glue some things down. Now the heart, I just used the tacky glue for these acrylic pieces. I have used the tacky glue before when I made things with it this summer, and those are still intact. So I think that that is a good type of adhesive to put on these thick acrylic pieces. And I ended up going into my stash. Whenever I did my kit, I showed that I had this gold and white baker's twine, excuse me, but it just didn't go with what, this page, was calling for. So I just went and got some black and white that I had. I've said this before. I don't have a lot of baker's twine. I kind of missed that. I was out of scrapbooking for about 6 or 7 years, and I missed some of the big trends that came around, namely enamel dots, washi tape, and baker's twine. Those all came out in the 7 years that I had stopped scrapbooking, and I still, to this day, I do not like enamel dots. I can hardly stand washi tape, and I have very few baker's twine. But what I do love is sequins, and I like to just place them, strategically on my page. I want the colors to go together. I like to have different sizes. In both of the packs that I used, one of them, let me see. I can't remember what the one is that I got the dark blue. I think it's the same color as what's in We Are Royals. And then the other sequin pack is Winter Wonderland. And did you notice that in the top left-hand corner is that butterfly? Oh my gosh, when I saw that, I thought, oh, this has to be it, because it says the word wish. And I thought, oh, this is perfect, because that little puppy wishes she was getting a bite of those pancakes, which I know my daughter doesn't feed her any table food, so that didn't happen. But if the butterfly is going to go on the top, I need one down at the bottom. And there was some white, and I used the same small dots, and I believe that is, let me look, it is a Lawn Fawn ink. I think it's black licorice. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, black licorice is what it's called. Normally I use another black. I have several blacks that I use, but for some reason that was the one that my hand went to, and that's the one that went. All right, so I just glue the butterflies in the center, thinking that the wings will, be a little bit elevated. If I really wanted them elevated, I could put some foam underneath them, but I didn't. So I'll just let them be how they are. And then this is my favorite sprinkle colorings I use. It's called Night Moves, and it's kind of a dark gray, and it is perfect for what I need. All right, so now I'm doing the last, I think this is the last little bit. They're the little word stickers, and the word that is above pretty says never give up, which I thought was funny, and the other one says think positive. And I think we're at the end. Thanks for joining me today. If you liked it, if you'll give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you.